12 almost. Hello, hi, I am Cheryl Abram, and welcome to Life Without a Witness. So glad you're here. Um, I'm happy to be here. And so the way this goes is if you have questions, you just type them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. So I'm just going to introduce myself. Again, I'm Cheryl Abram. My YouTube channel is called Life Without a Witness, as is this show. And I was married twice, so I have two marriages, but no convictions, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud of myself. That second one, I was kind of close there. I'm a mom, a veteran. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I just changed careers a little while ago. At first, I was an HR specialist, and I'm just really excited. For a long time, I was very scared. I wouldn't have admitted that. I wouldn't have said that I was afraid, but I was afraid, like all the time. Afraid of doing something wrong. Afraid of not being good enough. Afraid of not living up to somebody's expectation. I mean, it was exhausting. It was absolutely 100% exhausting. It really was. And that exhaustion, the inability for me to uh, go one more step. It's kind of like I was in the military, right? And you know how you don't even have to be in the military. If you lift weights, right? You know, if you lift weights for a long time, your muscles just get tired. You reach muscle failure. Like eat as much as you want to, you cannot lift that weight again, right? So that's how I was on the day that, all of this came together for me. I was just tired. I wanted to pray. I wanted to do something, but I was just exhausted, right? So the only thing I could do was to tell the truth, and I did. And so I'm sure you all, well, I'm not sure, I don't know, but you may have, heard, how this kind of thing happens, right? You just see that, at least for me, I was wrong about everything. Um, and that was the most freeing thing, that could have happened, right? To realize, Cheryl, nothing you thought or believed is right. Okay. That was refreshing. And but after that, I went through I was very excited. I wanted to tell everybody. I wrote a lot. Okay. I have 3 books out there, right? I blogged like every day, twice, 3 times a day, every opportunity to tell people what I had experienced, because I thought it was wonderful. It was good news. It was good news. The good news is you can choose, right? You don't have to be, do, think, whatever. You absolutely can choose, right? So, I went through the whole thing, and then I was like, oh, okay. So I see all that, like we're all one, or, whatever all that means. So what? What was my next thing? Okay. So what? Now what happens now? All right. And I didn't know right away. So it's taken me a while to really see the so what. And there is a so what, because maybe I was thinking, well, maybe, I don't know, like maybe this is just what it is, but there is a so what, and I see that like all the time. And one thing that I did realize, which is why I called my channel Life Without a Witness, is that when I saw that nobody sees me, all right, nobody sees Cheryl. Nobody hears me. Nobody knows me, none of that stuff. I was very upset. First of all, I was very upset, very, very upset. And then I thought, okay, so living without a witness, like how would that actually go? What could I do? What are the possibilities? When I saw that everything is not what I thought it was, and I was wrong, that just gave me the freedom to not be afraid. Okay? The freedom to not be afraid. Fear was no longer an obligation. You know, I had to be, like, I was obligated to be fearful before, but now, now I saw that I wasn't, and as a result of that, the way I see it now, I love questions. Okay, I have the questions that I ask and the things that I'm able to do now. This has just permeated everything, right? How I am as a mother. It's permeated what I do in my job, right? How I approach my job, how I approach the things that I'm doing, like right now where I am in cybersecurity, how I interpret things, and I'm like, okay, so that's the so what. For me, the so what was being free to ask these questions, where before I wasn't, because first of all, I already had the answer. You know, I knew there was a God. I knew what I was here for. I knew that I had to be saved. I knew all that stuff. I knew it. It was in a book. The book said it, okay? And then a whole bunch of other people before I was even born said it. So I knew it. It had to be true, you know? So there was no need to ask any questions about anything. There was no need. But now, now that I saw that I was actually free to ask questions and change my mind and all that stuff, it's amazing. It's still amazing. Now that doesn't mean that everything is rosy. I have no problems or anything like that. But I approach them in a different way. So, for example, I have a boyfriend, okay, and we um, we have discussions and feisty conversations, is what I like to call it. Uh, and one day I was in Target. I was in the store that we have over here, and I was just so upset, because of something that he did, right? Very, very upset. And I got to the register, and I'm checking out, and I see very clearly my role now. It's hard for me to blame anybody for anything now. It's just hard. Like I'd love to do it. It's hard for me to blame now. So what I had to do, or what I did, was I saw where I was choosing to be afraid in that moment that something was going to happen that I did not want to happen. Okay. And I had to call him and I had to say, you know what, I just saw. Now he's not like into all this non-dual stuff. Like he'll listen to me talk about it, but he's not, he's just a nice guy, right? Uh, but I had to tell him, what I saw, and just be honest that, the argument that we got in was because I was afraid of this particular thing. All right. And I absolutely 100% see that. Now, just because I see that, okay, we can still have a feisty conversation if we need to, but just know that I see what's going on. Okay, I see my role in this, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I see, where I have accountability and all that in the situation. So that was hard for me to do at first. Because the day when I was, when I was at work, and I don't know, for those of you who read my book, Firing God, I talk about it in there. But the day that I was there, that I was at work and I was, this whole thing just happened, right? And I saw what was going on. Right after that, it was exciting. And, like I said, all that I wanted to tell everybody. But then, the work the real work began, you know. Um, and at the time I was like, listen, I don't have time for this. Okay. I was going through a divorce and I don't have time for universe stuff. Okay. Give me like 6 months and I'll come back to whatever the hell that was. Right. But that wasn't. Those of you who know, that was not going to happen. Okay. Because, it is what it is. Right. So I had to do the work. And one of the absolute hardest things for me to do was to see my role in a lot of the things that were going on in my life, because it was too easy to blame my ex-husband, you know, for the situation I was in. It was just too easy. It was low-hanging fruit. Okay, it was just very easy, you know, but it was a lot of work. It really was. And it's not like I could have gone back to Christianity or gone back to wherever the hell I was. Okay. That wasn't an option. Okay. Because there was nowhere to go, but forward to do the work. Right. And it's tough. It's really tough to be honest with yourself. How in the world can you hide secrets, or can you have secrets about yourself? How can you hide that? It's some kind of way I was able to do that. And especially when I was a Christian, it was like a pathology, right? Keeping secrets was a pathology. Like that's what I did. And the way I referred to it was, I'd go in my closet and, tell God all about my problems. But, I was just keeping secret and not really expressing the feelings that I had, stuffing them down because I wasn't supposed to have them. You're not supposed to, there's things you're supposed to do and things you're not supposed to do. And God's looking. And if you want to, get to eternity and have your prayers answered and all that, then you got to do what you're supposed to do. Well, that didn't work for me. So all of those secrets, all the stuff that I had stuffed down. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Ida. All the things that I'd stuffed down I had to get rid of that. Okay. It didn't just fly away with the realization that, oh, I was wrong about everything. We're all one. No. Okay. All that garbage was still in there. And I had to work that out. I had to work it out. It was very tough, I'm telling you. And I couldn't talk to anybody. I could not talk to anybody about it, because, we were on a different, we're speaking a different language at that moment. Okay. I didn't understand that language. They didn't understand mine. So it was really, now I did not get the opportunity to go to India for 40 days and 40 nights, or however long you're supposed to do that thing and, trek up the Himalayas and all that. I would have loved to have had all that privacy and space to do all that. But, I had kids, bills, rent, car payments. I had to find an apartment. I lost my house. A whole bunch of shit was just happening. Okay. I did not have the luxury for a retreat or something. But what happened was things just started, like I had my two boys, but they were with my little sister took them for a year, which was devastating for me, but I had to get back on my feet after all that, right? So things like that just started happening where I did actually have the time and the space to work through, all of these things. And let me tell you something. I was terrified, 100% terrified for 365 days. I'm telling you. Seeing seeing who I was or who I wasn't, seeing who I wasn't was it was like white hot terror a lot of times. It really was. Could one say non-duality is the revolution of the ordinary? That sounds like a book, like the revolution or a movie. The revolution of the ordinary. I like that. I don't know. One can say whatever they want to say about what non-duality is or isn't. And actually, I'm glad you said that. Minard, is that how you say that? There came a time when I was like this stuff is annoying. Like I hate. I was talking about it like all the time, and I started getting on my own nerves. Like, shut up. Like, can't you talk about something else? You know, like, why am I talking about this stuff? You know, and I was like, well, I'm not, because I was in Facebook groups. So I was, just talking, just talking. Okay. And I got tired of myself. All right. So I was like, okay, Cheryl, that's enough. Like, go do something, get back to what you were doing before, and I was like, well, I'm not a non-dualist. Like, I don't even know what the hell that is. All I do know is that at some point I was certain. I did not need backup. I didn't need a witness. I didn't need anything. Okay. I was certain. Like, I've never been certain before. I was certain. And when I say I was certain, it's like the fabric of me was certainty. Okay. Like, that's what was going on. Certainty is what was going on. Okay. You need a witness. I knew for a fact. I just knew. Okay. And I had to keep going back to that, right? So sometimes I tell people, I'm a Christian who changed their mind, okay? Or, I got all kinds of labels. And for me to realize also that I did not have to say anything. I ain't got to tell nobody anything about anything, okay? It's not necessary. It's not needed. Nobody needs to hear this. Okay. That was a realization for me too. And seeing that nobody needed to hear this, nobody needed me. That's something that I take on the job. Okay. So I love learning and development. I did that for so many years. And even now that I'm in cybersecurity, I still do it. And one of the first things I tell people that I'm in front of, I tell learners, you do not need me for this, okay? You absolutely don't need me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. They don't. Nobody needs Cheryl, nobody, which gives me so much freedom. My kids don't need me, they don't. They don't. Now, they won't tell you that, right? But they really don't, okay? And life doesn't need me, that really realizing that first, it was hard to hear. It was hard to say. Just like, nobody sees me. That was hard. It was very difficult. But it gives me so much freedom to be whatever the hell I want to be and to define myself. I have I've come into cybersecurity. I've created a whole list of words that I've redefined. I'm redefining words and moving through, on those definitions. One of the things, so I just studied for an exam, okay? It's a risk management exam. When I went through the questions, normally what I would do, and what most of us typically do, we ask the question and we either get it right or wrong, right? Right or wrong. So I don't do that anymore. For the exam, I say, I learned something, I knew that, or I don't agree, okay? And someone was like, what you mean? This is an exam. You can't not agree with, Yes, I can, right? I do, and there's a lot that, people have standards, they've done research, they've done all this stuff, right? I cannot, it's possible for me to say, I don't agree with that, you know? Yes, you're the expert, you've been here forever, I don't agree with that. And I can say that, Now I love research too, so I go do stuff. But for that's very freeing as well. Okay, that's very freeing as well to know that I don't have to agree with everything. I don't. Even if it's written in a book, I don't have to agree with it. So that too has been very, very freeing, and that's part of the so what, the so what is me being able to recognize that not two does not mean one. That's not what that means. Is just not two. So I saw this video. It's very good. It's of this doctor who, and this was in an article I wrote about space. Because I'm like, what the hell is this? Like something's going on with this space around us. Like it's not just just what we think it is. Like something's going on, right? So I looked at this doctor. He did some research, and it's called the still face experiment. Still face. It's on YouTube. And so he has a mother and her child. I think the baby's like maybe two or three, something like that. And what he tells the mom is, he says, I want you to sit here with your baby. And for those of us who have kids or nieces or nephews or whatever. Oh, hi, everyone. All these things just popped up. I'm just seeing all of a sudden. Okay, so the mom and the baby are there, and he tells the mom, okay, just interact with the baby. So she's doing that. She's interacting with, and you know how babies are, when they're with their mom or dad or sister or brother, they're doing stuff, and you're talking, the baby talk to them, and all that. We're interacting. So then the doctor told the mom, okay, I want you to have a still face. Just don't stay there. Just don't respond. Okay, so the mom, she did like this, and she just had a still face. Now the baby's still cooing and talking and smiling and reaching for mommy, but she's just there, absolutely not responding at all. Now the baby gets very agitated. I mean, you poor thing. And I felt bad. I'm like, girl, get your baby. I was like, the baby, I mean, she was looking around. She started crying. I mean, and I'm looking at that right now. He did the experiment because it's about attachment, and stuff like that. You need to be attached and respond to your children and all that. But I'm looking at the video, and I'm like, but mom is still there. She's clearly still there, looking at the baby, everything, but she's not responding. So the baby feels like maybe she's not here. Maybe mom isn't here, even though she's right there, which made me think about, and that's why I wrote that article about, what did I title it? Was it Lost in Space? Something about space, okay? Because I'm like, okay, so something's going on, okay? But I'm not getting a response. I'm doing all this. I'm waving my arms, I'm naming myself, I'm doing all kind of stuff, and there's no response. Does that mean something's not here? So now I got to make some shit up. Okay, there's a Zeus on the mountain over there, and he's got control of all, or whatever the damn story is. Okay, is that what's going on? Because there's clearly no response. Anything can happen, in this what we call space that we're in. It allows any and everything, any and everything. It's vulnerable like that. Whatever happens just happens, and there's no response. I've been watching these shows on IDTV, where how they show the how people are murdered and how they solve the puzzle, not the puzzle, how they solve the, the mystery and all that stuff. I'm like, man, this is some horrific shit. People are terrible, terrible. I mean, we do some ridiculous things, and it's, I mean, heinous, just heinous. And space just allows it. Ain't nobody doing nothing, you know? It just it allows everything. So that's why I wrote that, because I don't know. I ain't got no answers. I'm just saying, I wonder. I've been wondering a lot. I wonder if there's just something else going on here. And because we don't feel like we're getting a response, we're alone. We're all by ourselves. We've done something. We're guilty of something. And we've been, the whole story of Adam and Eve. I said in my one of those books, I don't think it was Fire God, I think it was the other one, Tales from Eternity. The original sin was not Adam and Eve. That wasn't the original sin. God committed the original sin because he's the one who separated the heavens from the earth and the firmament from the mountain and all this other stuff. He separated the light from the dark and the this from the that. And, he did the original sin, all that separation, that's what that story I see is about. Which is funny because, like, when I was in my room that day when I told God to fuck off, how I said in my book, and I was scared like some lightning was going to come strike me or something. After I said that, I had this amazing sense of freedom. And then I got this urge. I mean, this total 100% urge to read the Bible. I'm like, I ain't reading that. I had just thrown it on the floor. So I'm like, read the Bible. And it was like a compulsion. It was a compulsion for me to read that story specifically. Read that story. And, it was just like that compulsion. And I refused to do it until, I don't know, like 2 a.m, like 2 days later or something. I was like, fine, I'll read the damn story. So I read it and that was it. So I went back to sleep, and then, questions just all over the place, just questions I had never asked before, ever asked. Why would you ask a question when you have the answer? But now, after whatever, the questions, they were just off the chain, just popping up all over the place. Okay. And that's what one of them was, what was that original sin? Like, what the hell was that all about? And was it really Adam and Eve? So God, he threw, we fell for the okie doke. That's what we call it. We fell for the okie doke. And we believe, yep, it was that woman, just like Adam said. It was that woman. She did it, Yeah. So, I feel like I'm able to just listen, listen and ask questions, but not ask so I can get an answer. It's like, I don't care about an answer. What I care about is being able to ask the question. I'm happy to just ask the question and I'll leave it alone. And if I, get something after that, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. I just like asking the questions. I really do. Now, other people in my life feel like that's annoying as hell. Okay. Annoying as hell, especially coming into a new profession like cybersecurity. So you work with computers, and various things, it may not be as intricate as IT professionals and stuff, but so there's this idea of bits. You've heard of bits, right? The ones and the zeros, that binary computers talking and all that. Well, I asked someone, I said, well, what is a bit? Like, what is that about? Oh, it's ones and zeros. I was like, no, it's not ones and zeros. There's no ones and zeros running around on my motherboard. Okay, that's not what it is. I said, tell me what is that? Like, I really want to know what that is. I could not get an answer. I couldn't get an answer, you know, because I guess they didn't know, right? So I'm like, okay, I got to find out what the hell this is. So what I did was I said, okay, what I've come to realize, and I wrote something in my book, Tales from Eternity, about words, right? How I love words. But words, like the words I'm saying right now, is just some made up shit. It's like the birds chirping out there or donkeys braying. Like, that's exactly what it is. Okay. This don't mean anything. Okay. Except the meaning we give to it. Right. So I said, I know that every word I say, behind that word is something else. Okay. The word is just a symbol, just like the flag, the United States flag is a symbol of the ground and the water and the trees and, and all that. It's just a symbol. So I was like, okay, what's behind the word? I think I used the word digit and number. Okay, so what's behind a number? If I say 5, like, what am I talking about, right? So I really went into all of that. Like, what is behind this? So finally, after doing some research and stuff, what I discovered, and y'all, I was so excited. This is crazy. I was so excited to find behind bits is nothing but electricity. It's electricity. It's power. That's what a bit. So you have your electrical current, right? And bits are created, like the ones and the zeros are created when you change that current. And so you add voltage or something like that, right? But you change it so that the same way how scientists say our DNA encapsulates information, that's what electricity does and that's how bits, it encapsulates all that stuff you type in your keyboard and all that. I was like, okay, why couldn't anybody just give me that answer? Now I had to go into like electrical engineering and 7th grade science and and all of this to figure it out, but that's what I did. I started with, I know words are symbols. That's what they are. And they're not true. Okay, as much as I love words, when I say tree, that's just what is tree? Trees is a noun. It's a noun. Noun is a noun. It's just a whole rabbit hole. That is not what that is. And when I was working at my last job, and again, please, if you want to, I can stop talking if you guys have questions or anything. But when I was working at my last job, I was sitting in the office with my boss, and I told her, I said, you know what? There was a cup on her table. And I said, what is that right there on the table? And she was like, it's a cup. I said, are you sure that's a cup? She was like, yes, that's a cup. I said, well, why is it a cup though? So, now my boss and I, we'd been working together for a while. So we were able to have these kinds of conversations. All right. I said, it's only a cup because of the background. If there was no background, you would not see, there would not be a cup. When you say cup, what you're saying is cup and all of this, whatever's in the background, it don't matter. The wall, the floor, the sky, like everything else, okay, that you're not calling cup is actually part of the cup. Otherwise, there would be no cup there. She's like, Cheryl, can we get to the end of the day before we have these conversations? But that kind of stuff is just fascinating. Seeing the so what, right? The so what is just fascinating to me, compared to what I knew to be true, but before, it's just all very, 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 very fascinating. It really is. Okay, I'm going to be quiet and take a drink because, in case any of you have anything you want to ask or say, you have a comment or anything. because I do love talking. I do, especially about whatever this is, because I still don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Do you respond to the word? In the beginning was the word. I didn't get that whole thing. Minor, can you write that again? I did not get all of what you're saying there. The pearl. I once heard a girl ask, why am I me and why are you you? Those are great questions. They really are. Really great questions. So as far as being a mom, um, being a mom, it was so it's like an unattainable thing to be a mom, to be a good mom, right? Unattainable. And it's because I also have a mother. you know, I realize. Oh, hold on, me. Do you find that most people just find this stuff boring to talk about? I don't even know a whole bunch of people who, other than you all and Emerson and everybody on the channel and at the SAND conference and all that. I don't know if it's boring to talk about. I think everybody, or a lot of folks, we all say the same thing. Uh, we say a lot of the same things, which reminds me of when I was in church. You know, there were no original thoughts. Everything was scripted. It was read out of a book, or you heard somebody else say it. All the preachers preached the same, and you just had to put your own little swagger on it to make it different. But there are no original thoughts. Original thoughts were very scarce. The word is a frequency, a current, the original current, sustaining everything, and you capitalize word. I would love to hear something different. I really would, from a different person. So another one of my questions, right, at the end of Fire and God, I said, where are all the Black people? We can't get a break. We can't get a break. Where the Black folks at? I had such a hard time finding somebody that looks like me talking about, this experience or whatever people kept pointing me to Muji. Like, okay, is he it? Is that it? And it's not. I've found other people who look like me who talk about this, in various ways. But I'm like, come on now, non-duality. Y'all starting to look like the U.S. Congress. Okay, a bunch of old what? Yeah, I met Sonia. I actually worked with Sonia on some stuff. She helped me do some advertising for my book, for Fire and God. Yeah, I do know Sonia. The word is sound, is translation. Yeah, so I would love to hear something different. And maybe that's why I got, like, I don't know, disenfranchised or something. It's like, you know what? So that weird ass book, what's the name of that weird book? The book, the Ken Wapnick, he was talking about it all the time. That book was strange as hell. What is the name of that book? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I know Rebecca too. Yeah, we're Facebook friends. I don't know, whatever the hell it's called. But something in that book, when I read it, I was like, okay, I got you. It said, forget this book. And that was like the most, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Forget that. I love that. That told me, okay, I see exactly what this is saying. Forget that, like, if the Bible needs to have in there, forget this book. But people wouldn't know what to do. That's right. Because we need rules and standards. There you go. Jilly, thank you. Thanks, Jose. A Course in Miracles. That's it. That's the one. I don't know how I came across that. I don't know. So the first person I came across, right? Because after I, had that experience of everything, of me being wrong about everything, I went and I started Googling because I knew I could not have been the only person who's experienced this, whatever it was, So I started Googling it already in eternity, like that. That's the that's the zhush I was getting, already in eternity. The world is one song. The world is one song. Oh, that's pretty. So I started Googling, and I came across this dude, Osho, right? And I was like, oh, okay. So I clicked on his video. Listen, I didn't know what the hell this dude was talking about. I understand English very well, very well. He was speaking English. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but I felt like I recognized something. There was something he was saying that kind of, I didn't know what it was, but it was kind of familiar, So I just kept on going and going and finding people and hearing things and wondering about stuff until universe literally means one song. Oh, that's pretty. Oh my God, universe. Verse in a song. That's cool. I'd never realized that. Thank you for that, Robbie. That's cool. Yeah, so I just started, looking at people and stuff until I just started writing for myself. Because I wasn't, like I said, like nobody really had a Cheryl story. I wanted to talk to a Black woman in a second marriage with a husband she hated, who was trying to get her kids back, whose house was being foreclosed. I wanted to talk to her, okay? Because I needed somebody I identified with, so she could feel my pain. She knew what the hell I was going through. And then you got this weird universe shit that just happened. That's who I wanted to talk to. I couldn't find her though. I looked. All I found was Rupert Spira. Okay. And I didn't think he was gonna be able to know what I was talking about. Okay. I didn't think he was. He seems like a nice guy though. Seems like a nice guy. Cheryl, are there cultural barriers in your community? Speaking openly on non-duality, is it an offense against Christianity? So this is interesting. Thank you for that question. 5 years ago, I went to speak at, there's a community, a nonprofit called Black Non-Believers, okay? Because when I did I wrote my book is called Firing God, okay? And I don't know if I reached out to them or if she reached out to me, something like that, right? So they're atheists, okay? And I went down there and I met them. Mandisa, that's her name. She's the head of it. I met very nice people. I mean, wonderful people. So I went and I talked about the book, but I didn't go all the way into it because I was going to go beyond, not beyond. I was going to go like in a different direction. Okay. As atheists, you're like, okay, I'm here and you're landing somewhere as an atheist. First you were here. Then you said, I'm not going for that. Okay. And now you've landed here. Okay. So you have your flag in the ground as an atheist. Mine is not in the ground. So I had to stop at a certain point. But the thing about that, the thing that I did identify with that group is they were in the closet, in the Black community. Okay, God is everywhere. I'm telling, and then I grew up in Louisiana. Okay, the buckle of the Bible Belt. Louisiana. Everybody in the family was something. A minister, a preacher, a deacon, a first lady. What are the other roles? Something. There was something in the church. Okay, I never heard. I didn't even know there were people, especially Black people, who didn't believe in God, who were not Christians. You know, because they. I mean, if they were going to hell, of course. You know, they were going to hell, but I didn't know that. You know, so talking to this group and seeing the fear, like some of them were there like in secret, you know, their family couldn't know, the job couldn't know, like they would literally lose their jobs, you know, if people found out they didn't believe in God. And not only don't believe in God, but proclaiming to be atheist. You know, that's you don't do that in our community. You know, it's unheard of. You know, how else did we get through what we got through? How else are we able to be so successful? How else are we able to graduate college? How else are we able to purchase homes and cars and, you know, and get healed from sickness and not die in the accident? It is God. How else are we able to do that? So something's wrong with you if you don't believe in God, because all the evidence that he's here, that he's real, is right in front of your face, you know? So now with where my family is concerned, I was in the day before my book came out. Okay, now let me start here. So when I went to the military, right, I was in a Patriot battery, and we had to go to Saudi Arabia, okay, like every 6 months, which was terrible. And the Patriot, that's like the Patriot missile, right? So I was in the company that did the Patriot missile stuff. So we had to go to Saudi Arabia. Now, while I was there, I met a boy. Some kind of way, I don't know how it happened. I got pregnant. Okay. Now I'm a Christian girl. First of all, I ain't supposed to be having sex. Okay, no sex before marriage. It's a sin. But since, okay, we passed that, now I got a baby growing in my uterus. What the hell? And I'm not getting an abortion. That's not going to happen. So what am I going to do? Okay. Listen, I was terrified to tell my mom because I'm a good Christian girl. You know, I was terrified. And the church that we'd grown up in was so fundamentalist. I didn't wear pants. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't wear nail. I went to church. I mean, I didn't go to my school dances, nothing. But I was okay. I was happy about that. You know, if you'd have seen my notebooks in high school, Jesus loves you. I was witnessing to people, all that, you know, and I felt amazing doing it because I knew that the Lord saw me and I was getting points in heaven. You know, I was going to have more manna and honey or whatever, even though I hate honey. I was like, can I have syrup? Do you have maple syrup? Can we? So I was scared to tell my mom. Now, Pearl, my heart goes out to all the Black folk in their attempt to throw off the shackles of Christianity. We need more ideas on what is and can be. Absolutely. Thank you, the Pearl. So what I did was, my brother can't keep a secret to save his life. Okay, if his life was in danger and somebody said, you know what, you will live if you keep the secret, he'd die because he can't keep one. He just can't. Okay. And I knew that. Everybody knows that. Okay. He knows that. He's happy to tell you. Now, I said, let me do this. I don't want to tell my mom, but I want somebody to tell her because I'm scared. Okay. So I called him and I said, you'll never believe this. I'm pregnant. I said, please don't tell anybody. Don't tell, please. Keep this to yourself. I have to figure out a way. Oh, okay. I knew before I hung the phone up, good. I knew my mom. So that's how I told my mom about my pregnancy. Now, after I wrote a book called Firing God with my picture on the cover, it was so all over again. Like, Lord, how am I going to tell my mom? Tell my mother. How am I going to tell her? Okay, I'm a Christian girl. I already disappointed her 12 years ago. I can't do it again. That's my mama. I love her. I can't disappoint her. So my mentor, Robert Rabin. So Robert Rabin, he was my public speaking coach. And then, he just became my mentor because he was an amazing person. And I went to visit him in Los Angeles a couple years before he died. So we're there, and he's like, are you excited about your book coming out? So it's coming out the next day. I was like, yeah, I'm really excited. So he was like, so how does your family feel about it? I'm like, they don't know. He's like, Cheryl, your book comes out tomorrow. Nobody knows. He was like, your mom doesn't even know. I was like, no, he said, Cheryl, call your mother. Tell her the book is coming out. So I did, I caught, and I was like, Mom, I have this book coming out, and I was hemming and hawing, and all this, and it's got a title that you might. She was like, well, what is it? So, like, what is the book? I told her, I said, it's called Firing God. She's like, huh? I said, it's Firing God, Mom. And she was quiet, she was quiet. She was like, well, Cheryl, why did you call the book? So I had to go into, that kind of thing. But of course, she had all Louisiana praying for me to come back to the Lord, which is fine. I love my mom and she loves me. But we don't really talk about this, but like I said in the beginning, nobody needs to hear it. She sees the same thing I do. Somebody said, I forget who said it, but they were like, you cannot wake up a person who's pretending to be asleep. If you're pretending to be asleep, how in the hell am I going to wake you up? How? I can't. So there's no, like, what the hell you want me to do? So I just told her about, what I was doing. So, okay. Now I talk to her like every week, and I talk to all my family. They would prefer that I had the same belief system, because the belief system is almost like, it's like your football team. Like, what's your favorite football team, or soccer, or rugby, or wherever you are? It's a team. It's the Christianity team. We wear certain shirts. We go to games on certain days. We read a certain book. This is the team. Okay, are you on a team or not? You can't be a Green Bay Packer here and then try to be a Patriots fan and think we're going to be cool. No. We can be cordial, but, if you're on a different team, you're on a different team, It's been a journey with my relationship with my devout Catholic mom. Progress has been made. Patience and cooperation definitely helps. So my mom's in her 70s, and what I came to see, at first I was really angry. I was angry. I was like, why did I believe this ridiculous shit? I mean, it's just crazy. But then I was like, you know what? When I did believe, it helped me. It was helpful. Some parts of it were very damaging, very damaging. But some aspects of it were helpful. Like they did, if I was sad or something, then I would, sing the songs and believe that God was there. I mean, the beliefs, you got to take the up with the down, So, and then some people, they're just still in that place, and that's fine. I'm still in this place. And just because I'm saying what I'm saying now, that doesn't mean I'm right. Like I was wrong before and I'm right now. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about right now. I'm still wrong. The day I saw I was wrong about everything, it's still that day. I'm still wrong about everything. Okay. But I realize that now, and I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Okay. And it allows me to, go ahead and say what the hell I want to say, and ask the questions I want to ask, and have the career I want to have. And You know, it allows all that. It allows all that. And that's good. That's fine. That is fine. I have 12:54. So who else, does anybody else have a comment or a question? Give you all who've been here with me. I'm so appreciative. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me ramble. I appreciate you. So I'm still discovering the so what, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun discovering the so what, and just oh, thank you, thank you so much for having me here. Hi, Julie. Thank you for being here, Julie. Oh, first time listener. Come back, the Pearl, okay? Hi, Ram. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so I'm going to just continue to discover and you know, see the so what, because there's one thing I know is that growing into my possibilities is just has been so much fun, you know, and not suppressing, you know, doing self-suppression, which is what I was doing before. It's almost like people who you know, who harm themselves. Like that's really what I was doing before. I didn't know it, you know. I thought I was doing something else. But hi, Ram. Hi, Emerson. You're welcome. Yeah, so that's where I am, you know, right now. Which is I have no idea. I have no idea. And it's okay. It's okay. Now sometimes there are aspects where I will plant my flag, but I know it's not rooted. It's planted, but it's not rooted. I can take it up if I want to. Okay. And again, thank you all so much for being here. I hope you come back next month. I'll have other things to talk about, but I hope this was fun, if nothing else. And I'm not sure if oh, that was my son. Did you see him? I told him to come down here with a shirt on. We're all at home, you know. And today's the inauguration too. I have to go see what's going on with that. But listen. This is not a political show. But 4 years ago on this day, I was just sad. I was sad. I was so sad. Today I'm not, you know. But that's another thing, right? How we differ when it comes to politics, and we're just so, you know, so polarized. And I am. That's one place where I am polarized. I got my flag in the sand. Okay, when it comes to politics. But I'm learning. I'm learning from people. Okay, I absolutely am. All right, so I see we have about 2 minutes left. Again, thank you so much for being here, Cheryl, Abram. I have my YouTube channel, Life Without a Witness, and Patreon, where you know, we can chat one-on-one if you would like to do that. Pixar movie Soul, it was quite spiritually edgy, especially one celebrating the Black community. I wonder, Black community. I haven't seen it. I think my daughter saw it though, but I'm gonna look at it because I love Jamie Foxx, you know, and I think he's amazing. I'm gonna check that out. I'll check it out. Yeah, so next time I will be able to speak with you about, I really want to get into work and the workplace, you know, because we spend most of our lives at work, you know, and I have ideas. I do, a lot of them. So y'all have an amazing day, and I will see you back here. Same time next month.